So do put that on your calendar. The Sunday Florida online tournament will also be March 6th, Saturday, March 6th. So that starts at noon. You should be getting notices, but if you don't, let me know and I'll make sure you're on the mailing list. Many thanks to Gary for putting this on. He's also available for private lessons if anybody wants to follow up with him on that. And with that, Gary, I've been rereading Michy's opening concepts and enjoying all of his proverbs. So look forward to this to reinforce what I've been reading.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, tonight's session, we're kind of moving on to the, I guess, the next series. And three tonight, three sort of proverbs tonight, mostly on tiger play, or the tiger move, I guess, which is something that Michy is a term that Michy coined. It all is a double hit. And so, but it's now, you know, this is the first, well, not the first, but kind of a unique description of something, and it's now common. In fact, over the weekend when we were playing a tournament, you know, one of my opponents said, "Oh, you should have done the tiger play." So now, you know, I think it's what Michy's book is most famous for now at this point. I don't think it's necessarily his best idea, but the name is sort of caught on. So, so we're going to talk about tiger play. That's a proverb. What the proverb actually is to, actually, what is the proverb? To hit twice is tiger play. There's another saying, two on the bar better by far. But the idea is that it's a very strong move to put two checkers of your opponents on the bar. And so he calls that tiger play. Two other proverbs that we're going to look at tonight are related, I think actually much more important, and come into more your thinking in terms of strategy, which is hitting with 8 is weak, hitting with 10 is strong. By 8, I mean checkers in the zone. Actually, I should get the right label for that. Let me look that up for a second. Okay, so it's Proverb 6 is to double hit is tiger play. Proverb 7 is attacking with 8 checkers is weak, and Proverb 9 is attacking with 10 checkers is strong. So let's look at those. We'll look at we'll look at the attacking with 8 and attacking with 10 in later sessions. But so right now we'll focus mostly on the tiger play, which is basically hitting twice. And so what I have on the screen now is probably the ideal example of a tiger play. And so we're on the bar. We've got a 5 and a 1. So what do we do? Hint, it's the tiger play.
Hit on the 20 and the 5.
Yeah, we're going to come in, hit on the 20, and then hit on the 5. This should be when you see a 1 and your opponent's on the 5, it's almost automatic that you're going to hit him there, unless you can do something very strong. Otherwise, it's the 1. So, and obviously, if you're coming in the bar and your opponent's on the 5, you're going to hit him there. So this is this is the tiger play. Michy draws another distinction, and that he identifies what is called the strong tiger and the weak tiger. The strong tiger is when we are going to put a blot where we want to make a point. So if we put a blot on the 5 point, that's a strong tiger because that's a point that we want to make. If we're going to put in, I think this is the one. Yeah. This is okay. What do we do with the 4-1 here? This is a pretty common play.
Double hit.
Double hit, yeah. So this is an example of the weak tiger, because we're going to put when we're done, we're going to have a checker slotted on the ace point, which is not really where we want to put a checker, at least not in the early on in the game. So this is the weak tiger. So part of the idea here is, okay, when, you know, certainly putting two checkers on the bar has, you know, a lot of merit to it. You know, if black rolls a 6, now he's going to dance with at least half his number, and he's now, instead of wasting or using one of the dice to come in, he's now got to use both, and so he can't do anything else constructive with it. But it's not, so that part of it is very strong. However, putting a checker on the ace point is not that great of an idea, particularly, you know, when you don't have that many covers.
Harry, I got a question.
Yeah.
So on that first setup you had, if you didn't have a checker on the bar, would you do the double hit 6-5, 6-1?
Let's go back and look at that a second. So if you're saying, say this one was here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good question, and we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes. And I'll leave that. We won't answer that now because I'll get to you. Well, actually, my next example is your same question. Or a similar question. Actually, no, it's a similar question. Here we've got a chance, the opportunity to make the tiger play. And the question is, do we make the tiger play? And so let me get you a hint and remind you of the two other proverbs we're looking for. Attacking with 8 checkers is weak. Attacking with 10 checkers is strong.
So I guess the answer is no.
So yeah, the answer is no. Here we've only got 8 checkers in the zone. Oh, now let me. Does everyone know what I mean when we say attacking with 8 checkers versus attacking?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it's really this is the concept of checkers in the zone. Okay, the zone extends from the 11 point. It's your inner board and the outfield. So it extends from the 11 point to the ace point. Here we're going to start. We start the game with 8 checkers in the zone. If we bring 2 checkers down, now we've got 10 checkers in the zone. Okay, so the idea is that when you're attacking here, you want to have checkers in the zone so that you can follow up on your attack, potentially closing your opponent out or generating a very strong blocking structure. So the answer here is no, we don't do the weak tiger, even though here's the weak tiger. This is the same position that we ended up with before, when we had the two checkers on the 2 deuce and the ace point. So this is the same position, but now it's not the best play. The best play is to split, is to hit and split, which we'll talk about splitting next time. But is to come forward and then hit loose. Put the arrows up so we can see what we did. And not too far behind is to come down, bringing another checker into the zone, and doing that. So now let's go back actually to the other question someone asked with the 5-1. So what do you think? I forgot who asked that, but who asked it? Charlie? Okay. Yeah, so now what do you think of this one? Because now we can also do the double tiger. Actually,
Down the 5 and slot the 5. Bring one down and slot the 5.
we're going to come down and stop. We're not going to do the double hit tiger play. And actually, I'll touch on this a little bit. In one of his advanced chapters, Michy talks about the double tiger. The double tiger is when you're going to hit loose on your inner board with 2, leaving 2 blots on your inner board, as opposed to a regular tiger play and then a strong tiger and a weak tiger. But the answer here is no, we're not gonna do the double hit or the double tiger. We only have 8 checkers in the zone.
Mhm.
Now, if we had more, let me go back. Let's see if I did this one. Okay, here's an example. Okay, we can do the tiger play again. Hitting on the 4 and then the 1. But is that the right play here?
No.
Still have 8 checkers in the zone.
Yeah. Right, 8 checkers in the zone, and attacking with 8 is weak. Now, there are other proverbs that come into play here. Let's do these. We're still going to want to hit here because we're fighting for the good point and unstacking. So we're still, that's still, given that there's nothing better to do with our, the 2, that's what we're going to want to do. So that's kind of the, you look at what you have, you can't hit out here, you can't make a good point, you can't make an outfield point. So now we're going to fight for a strong point. So the first step here is 6 to 4. Okay, now what do we do? Well, we can hit again doing the tiger play, but we've only got 8 checkers in the zone. So let's see if there's something better. And there is. We can either come down, bringing a 9th checker in the zone, or we can come up, the hit and split.
I don't know, Gary, can you hear me? I'm not sure
Yes.
if my audio is working correctly.
Yes, Richard, is that you? Yeah,
Yes, you can.
yes, I can hear you.
It would seem like the double hit, because in order to hit us back, he has to come in on the 1, 11 out of 6, which is less than 1 out of 3. We've eliminated a whole roll of his that we can use later on.
Mhm.
And I don't see the advantage of giving him a double hit on the 4 when you could, he could come in on the 4, he could come in on something and roll a 3. It's more, there's more ways to hit if you just hit the 1 checker. And I'm not sure I understand why you would not hit both.
Well, because you can't follow up. What you may not get hit. In fact, there are, if you do the double hit, there are fewer chances of getting hit. He has to roll a 1. So there are 11
Correct.
rolls with 1. Whereas if you just hit here, he's got a 4. There are 11, 12, 15 4s, and then, a 2, 3, a 3, 3, 5, 3. That also, so there's a lot more hits this way. But the problem is that strategically, having this checker at the ace point pretty much puts him out of the game until you cover him. And it always makes him susceptible to being hit.
Well, but if he doesn't get hit, then behind the checkers that come, you still have opportunities to do some damage, and you can cover him with a convenient 5.
Right. Well, those are all
If you
true,
need to.
but they're not the best strategy. Generally, if you look, you'll find it's very rarely right to play behind your opponent's checkers, except in maybe holding games. But you want to play your checkers for the most part in front of your opponent's anchor or his last checker or something. You want to be able to block them. Once black comes in, if he doesn't hit this checker is pretty much out of the game. Until something else happens, and it's not serving any purpose there. So as a general rule, you don't want, which is why we don't want to make the, we don't want to make the ace point right away necessarily. And sometimes it's the best play, but that's not what you'd rather do. Similarly, if black comes in, you're not going to want to dump checkers behind it, his anchor. You want to keep your checkers in front of your opponent's back checkers so that they can block and do something useful and attack later on. So that's sort of it's a general idea.
I understand what you're saying. It just seems counterintuitive.
Okay.
But I'll
Well-
respect your and the author's.
Well, part of the lessons and the instruction is to change your intuition on this.
Well, yes, please. Would you please?
Okay, let's look at another now. Okay, we opened with the double fours. Our opponent got a 4, 3 and split this way. Now what do you think?
Double hit.
Cover.
Someone said,
No, there is. Oh.
13, 10, 6, 4.
I agree with that.
okay, how many checkers in the zone?
2,
10.
4,
10.
Yeah.
Okay, attacking with 10 is strong. So attack.
Yeah.
So it has to do with how many checkers are in the zone.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I get that.
Yeah, you have the idea is you have the ammunition now to follow up. You know, previously, if these checkers weren't here, this is not, here it would, you know, if you hit twice here, and this is not a bad play, you have this anchor which helps, but you don't have the checkers to either carry on the attack if your opponent slots a 5-pointer comes in, or to cover. Bringing those extra checkers down gives you, you know, and now you've got 7 or 8s that will cover in addition to 7s, and you've got you can attack on the 5 or the 4 with all your with that extra checker. So it makes a big difference.
How much of a difference does it make from 13, 10, 6, 4?
Well, it's a 0.07, so it's an error, not a blunder. Let me.
Big error.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
fairly-
I can't.
You know, it's fairly sizable.
It's sizable.
Now, the other thing too here is that we've got this blot out here. And if you only come in with 1 checker in this position, he's got a chance to safety it. Now, the 4s are duplicated in the sense that if he comes in with a 4, then he can't safety from here with the 4. But, you know, hitting 2, even if he hits you, you've got another shot at this blot, which will put you way up in the race. So, okay, let's look at the next one. What about this one?
You got 10 in the zone, so
Tiger play.
Tiger play, yeah.
Yeah.
6-5 and
Tiger, weak tiger.
and the 1.
Weak tiger. You got 10 in the zone, hit twice.
Right.
And this one is, you know, it's a big blunder not to do this. But you know, this is the, you know, this we're doing the weak tiger because we have 10 in the zone. All right, what do you think about this one?
seems like the same thing.
Same
Well, you don't have any direct covers of the 1 point. Is the only thing. You
Yeah.
got 7s and 9s and 5s.
Yeah.
Or 7s and 9s because you used your
Yeah.
extra
Yeah,
checker
and
on the 5.
you make a good point here. And in this case, it's still the weak tiger, the double hit, because you've got 10 in the zone. But, you know, this is not as strong, relatively speaking, as, you know, as probably the regular play. Because we don't, as you know, as Richard said, we don't have the cover anymore with this play. You know, we don't have the direct cover. We've got 7s and 9s, but we don't have the direct cover. Here, we're bringing another checker into the zone and we're sliding the point that we want. So, you know, this is still a fairly decent play. And then we can always come back up and hit. But so, you know, this is not 10 in the zone. You can look at the weak tiger. It's still, still the best play here. But you can't just look at that solely at how many checkers in the zone. As Richard pointed out, there's no cover, so it's a little bit weaker. But the idea again is, okay, you can start looking for the tiger play. Can you do the double hit? And then ask, well, does it make sense to do the double hit? And if you don't have 10 checkers in the zone, then probably not. Now, when I say that, I'm looking at the tiger hit, the tiger play, hitting loose in your home board. And, you know, hopefully it's obvious that, you know, if this checker was here, what the right play would be. You know, there's no question. It's still a tiger play. It's a strong tiger play. But now it's a different matter. You're going to hit him. You're going to hit 2, but you're going to slot the point that you want, and you've got 10 checkers in the zone. So this is, you know, it's a blunder, you know, not to hit twice here. So let's, you know, we talk about tiger plays, and they happen, and when you can do them, they're very strong. But you know, you still have to think about what else you have available to go on.
So Gary, is it safe to say that if you're gonna do a weak tiger play, you definitely need 10 checkers in the zone?
Is it definitely?
Well,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you don't have 10 checkers, so you're probably not going to consider it. Now, having said that, a lot of times, you know, there may not be another play to make.
Right.
You know, a lot of times we hit loose in our, you know, on the inner board just because there's nothing better to do and you're going to leave a direct shot other way. So if you have to leave the direct shot, then you might as well put him on the bar, put your opponent on the bar, rather than giving him more options to hit you back with. But yeah, I mean, the general idea is, you know, and I like the idea of, you know, attacking with 8 is weak and 10 with strong is a lot of your strategy or decisions that you make are going to be based on how many checkers you have in the zone. If you don't have the ammunition to follow up an attack, you should be more reluctant to attack. If you have the ammunition, then you probably should, you know, you should consider the attack. Now, there are more things too. There's board strength, your opponent's board strength, and things like that. But you know, one of the factors is, you know, how many checkers you have in the zone. If you have a lot of checkers in the zone, then you should really be firing away, because that's, you know, that's how you get the gammon. That's how you put your opponent on the bar and he starts dancing, and you fill in your board, and you know, before long you have the gammon. You got the 2 points. Okay.
I was just looking at the 13-9-6-5, because like that would bring an extra checker to cover that 5 point, but that's a huge blunder.
Yeah, let me put this back. Were you talking about? Oh, not in this position. You're talking about the other position.
No, the one you were just looking at.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You look at the 13-9.
yeah, 6-5.
5.
Well,
It's like the 5th one down.
Yeah. Keep in mind,
like bringing them down would give you an extra checker to
Yeah.
cover.
it
But look at how
does.
big a blunder that is.
But yeah, well, that's because of the alternative that you had. You know, we're talking about the tiger play now, but we're still playing backgammon. And you know, if you have your opponent, if you can hit your opponent here, then, and you don't, that's probably a pretty big blunder. Your opponent has 10 checkers in the zone. Your opponent is attacking you, and you can do something about it, you know, by hitting him here. Now he's got 9, and he's got, and the race has gone back. So, you know, the race, you were down 21 and now you're up 9 after hitting here. So, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
these
No, that's
are,
that's
again,
very instructive.
these are proverbs, these are ideas, these are tools. They don't stand as inviolate on their own. I mean, you have to consider everything else that's going on, which is why I say, it's other things being equal. And here, the first thing you should see here is, okay, there's a 1 I can hit with there, and there's a 4 I can hit with there. We're behind in the race, so probably I want to make sure I hit that one, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just 3-1. What would you do with the 3-1?
8-5, 6-5.
Ah,
I make the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you make the point.
yeah.
But look at this one. You make the point, but the tiger play isn't too bad either.
Very
Whereas,
close.
yeah, I mean, because again, you're going back in the race. You've got 10 checkers. Now he's only got 9. But look at this one. This would be a disaster, even though you're knocking it back and you're hitting him. But it's not the best play. So you've always got to consider all of your options. And the tiger play is usually a strong play, but it may not be your best option. Okay. Now we're gonna let's talk about this one and I'll introduce it again. What do we do here?
Hit the 11, hit the 1, hit the 11, slot the 5.
Okay,
I
there,
bet
If
the
you make
11
the 4-point,
okay, you're gonna make the 4-point.
You got a double hit.
You can double hit. You can
Very
5.
good.
So and those are these are tough ones. Making the 4-point is good. Is a strong point. That's one of our proverbs. But so is hitting your opponent. And so is a double hit. Now this is a weak tiger with the double hit.
So hit the 2 and slot the 5. I mean, hit the 11 and slot the 5.
Well, let me ask you this. If you could, why would you slot a 5 when you could hit one here?
Well, because it's weak.
Well, again, it's the weak tiger, but
But it is.
you're giving him a lot of shots here.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, hit the 2 and hit the 1. I mean, hit the 11 and hit the 1.
Well, let's look at these because there's some good options here. This is so the weak tiger is correct because you've got, I don't know if anyone said this, you got 11 checkers in the zone.
Yeah.
That's the sign that it's okay to do this. So with this now, the second best play is this pretty strong play too, making the 4-point. That's also one of our proverbs. Make the strong point. It's almost as good. If you made that point, you're not wrong. XG puts it off at 0.015. If your worst errors are 0.015, you're doing pretty well. So I wouldn't worry about too much about making. If you decide to make that one, that's fine. Now the problem is you're still, you're behind in the race. You're checking that your opponent now has just 1 checker to escape. But you developed a point, and now you've got.
yeah, because he doesn't have a board at all, so.
Yeah, your opponent doesn't have a board now, so this is not a bad move with this roll. But to the lesson, okay, we can do the double tiger. I guess the first step is, can you do the double tiger? It's a strong move on its own. And then is it a weak tiger or a strong tiger? If it's a weak tiger, do you have the checkers in the zone? And if all those say okay, then it's probably okay to do this play.
But does that now 11 checker override it? Does that make it stronger?
Yes, yeah. The more checkers, the
So-
stronger you are for the attack.
So what would you do there, Gary?
Well, having given this lesson, I would do the double hit now. I'm not sure that I would have done, having reviewed this, because
Well, of course, me too.
because, for the same reason that, that you said, hey, why not make the 4? It's not a bad idea to make the 4 point. It's not as, XG says it's not as good. So, I'll go
Hey,
with
Gary,
XG.
start off with the opponent having his 5 point. So yeah, put two checkers on the
Like that?
20, right? Now what's correct?
I still think the double hit. Let's look, because we got the same situation in the analysis we're looking at.
Yeah.
We didn't consider it.
But it's
on the
closer,
opponent's
okay.
board.
But
Now,
it's closer, yeah.
yeah. Now I
But
would
you
think,
have fewer places to come in.
yeah. In general, you should always consider the strength of your opponent's board, because the stronger your opponent's board is, the less risky you want to be. You don't want to leave a lot of blots lying around for your opponent to hit if your opponent has a strong board.
So Gary, let me ask a question. Is the other piece to the double hit that if your opponent ends up with one checker back, it kind of changes the way you have to play the game, because it's going to be hard to contain them. So if you can get both
Yes.
back there,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's a positive.
Yeah, when your opponent only has one checker back, it's not that hard to escape, because he's going to come in with a 6 something, hop out in the outfield, and then usually you've got just a single direct shot, and that's it. And if you don't, then you're probably in a lot of trouble. So that's part of it. That's why hitting is good. Send your opponent back. Put as many checkers in the back as you can reasonably do, and you're in a stronger position. Okay, let's go on to another variation of this. And what do we do with this?
Hit the 10 and come up to the 18.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Hit the 10 and come up to the 18,
Okay, the hit,
23.
okay.
Because the 3 point is not the strongest point. It's, according to Perry Gardner, your points in order 5, 4, 7, 3. So it's 4th on the list. You might as well try to get out while you can and hit the 3, because it sends him back. That's my thinking.
Why wouldn't you do the double hits? Like, because you'll have 9 checkers in the zone.
8, yeah, 9.
Yeah, you have 9. Yes, you come down and hit, and then do the double hit. So you could do the tiger play, and you'll have 9 checkers in the zone. So there's we didn't go over it, but like the 6-5 opening roll. Let me not get into that and confuse it. But the rule is 8 checkers, attacking with 8 checkers is weak, attacking with 10 checkers is strong. If we bring one down, we'll have 9. So
Right.
Where does that leave you? Not really strong, but not weak either. So
Twixt the devil in the deep blue sea.
yeah. So, but the way you should think about this is, okay, we have a 3, we should hit, and that's your first. That's your first move. And then you say, okay, now I've got a 5. What can I do with the 5? Well, I can do the double hit, but I only have 9 checkers in the zone, so maybe that's not. Maybe that's okay, maybe it's not. But I could also bring another checker into the zone, or I could come out. So let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
And it's coming down. Coming out is not bad, but the problem with coming out is it gives your opponent something else to shoot at when he comes in. And
Yeah.
the other thing too is, if you split your back checkers, this is a pretty good defensive standpoint. And you've got a lot of shots in the outfield, and you've got double shots in the infield if your opponent has to leave a blot there. So there's not a great advantage to coming out, to the barber. If they were split, or if they weren't split, then coming out with the 6 is probably the right move there. Or coming up with 4 or something like that.
It would seem like coming out to the 18 would, absent the joker roll, like double ones or something, that it's going to force your opponent to hit loose, and hitting loose on the 18 gives you a shot.
Well, that's true,
From
but I
whichever
would
point
say,
you leave open.
it's not terrible to hit loose. That's why you often bring it out from the back to put
Yeah.
up there. But let's not, let's not invite your opponent to hit you loose. If you want to establish, sometimes you throw a checker out there so that you get your opponent to hit you and leave lots so that you can get a hitting contest. You'll do that if you have a better board and you can win that hitting contest. But here, no one has a board yet. So, I wouldn't offer it up as a sacrifice yet. Bring it down, bring the checker in the zone.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible. It's a little bit, it's better to bring it down, but it's not a terrible play. This you should avoid just because you don't have the checkers in the zone. So, I would, to answer the question, you have 9 checkers in the zone. I would avoid the weak tiger with the 9 checkers in the zone. Go ahead with the 10, but avoid it with 9. Okay, where are we?
Gary, are you saying that you should come down to 10 and another to 8? Because that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's the best play here.
Terrific. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's get into briefly touch on Michy has a whole chapter on this. And this is the double tiger. And I don't want to. I can't do it quite. I can't do it full justice, and we only got a few more minutes. I mean, we're already a little bit over, but Michy devotes a whole chapter to the double tiger. But I wanted to bring it in now just to show it to you. And so, well, let me. We're running out of time, so let me just show you the play. Take a guess at what you think the right play is, and you don't have to say it out loud. I'll give you a hint. We're talking about the double tiger, so which is 2 hits on your inner board. So if you can't figure it out what the right play is from that hint, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my God.
Now, first of all, I wouldn't memorize this one because I don't know who. Black gets a 3-4 in their opening roll, and they come out with 2. 5 and 4.
Well,
I don't know. I've never seen anyone do that move. But Michy said it wasn't that bad of an opening move, even though no one does it. But in any case, the idea here is, you're unstacking your point, you're sliding points that you want. The real critical thing here that he points out, and I'll leave that. I don't want to get into that right now. Is that you leave these 2 here. And probably most people would consider this play, but you've got basically the same number of return shots with this play as you've got with this play.
I would think about slotting the 5 and bringing one up from the 24.
Yeah, that's something else that those are probably the plays you would consider. Most people would consider that. Instead of the
They're still blunders though.
Right play, yeah, but they're blunders, yeah. And the reason is that you've got your return shots are just about as many with this play as with this play, or this play, and there are a number, there are a number of rolls. For instance, anytime you get a 4 but don't hit, here you've made the 4 point, and now you can do something else, and so that's a pretty strong roll. And so you're better off. There's a reason why we're fighting for the strong points is that you want your opponent to not make the strong points. So hitting them both here does it. Okay.
So Gary, would you make that move?
Well, I would now. Yeah, I would have. When I looked at this, when I looked at this first I thought, first of all, I thought,
Well,
okay,
now.
well, yeah, after reading Michy's book, I would. But, before that, I probably would have done something like this or this, probably this one. But Michy makes, a good point. Now, this will, I don't know, this has never come up because no one plays 3-4 that way. But, later on in the game, yeah, sometimes there are more checkers scattered around. And then, then it may be different, but circumstances may be different. But, this is, he does, the point here is that if you have the opportunity to do that, look at your return shots. Because sometimes, when you have 2 on the bar, there are 20 return shots. I guess 21 because double twos will hit something. And that may be better than your alternatives. When you're on the opening match, you're stacked, in 2 points, and you've got points there, so you're not exactly diversified. And so you may not have better options. So So, but the thing is, you see the double hit, the double tiger, and then ask yourself, is this the best play? Do I give up more shots by doing this type of play? And the answer is, it's almost the same number of shots, but you also give them the 4 coming in with some other number, which is a strong play for your opponent. So even if he doesn't hit you off the 5 and he comes in on the 4, that's a pretty good, move for him. Okay. Again, Michy devotes a whole chapter to this, so I'm just going to go through it quickly, just to get you into the idea of it. Maybe if we want to go over it more thoroughly later, we will. But but these are types of plays that don't really come out that often. But they're good to know, and they're it doesn't hurt you to know. Okay, 5-1. We can do the tiger play. What do we do?
8-3-6-5.
Anyone else?
I think I make the
6,
4
5, 6,
and 3.
1.
8-4.
No,
6, 5, 6,
8,
1.
8, 3, 22, 21.
Okay. Okay, well, let's look at
The
running.
weak, it's a semi-weak double tiger. I think
Well, the question is the double tiger. The double tiger is the right play here.
but not the 1 point, because you don't really want that.
Yeah. Well, you have the choice. The thing is, when you have your opponent has 2 checkers on the bar, he's got to come in with the exact number to hit you. So there's no point in hitting the ace when you don't want it. You have the choice between a strong tiger and a weak tiger here. So you
Right.
actually do the strong tiger. Now, this one is a hard one to see, but but here's an example where you have 9 checkers in the zone. So for that move, that was the best. That was the best play. Okay, I'm getting a little over. So again, these I'm not going to. Maybe we can come back to these later, and when we get toward the end to go over this if we want to. But
So I have a joke, and it sort of plays off of Gary's response to the question, well, would you make that play now? So this is a quantum mechanics joke. So if you know about Werner Heisenberg and the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and you know about Erwin Schrödinger and Schrödinger's cat. So Heisenberg and Schrödinger are driving at high speeds somewhere in the US, and they get pulled over. And the officer goes up to the driver's side. Heisenberg is driving. And he says, do you know how fast you are going? He says, no, but I know exactly where I am. He says, you are going 55 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. And Heisenberg says, great, now I'm off. So the policeman is suspicious, and he says, open up the trunk. And he goes to the trunk and he asks Schrödinger, did you know you have a dead cat in your trunk? And Schrödinger says, well, now I do. It's a physics Sorry.
I- There are a lot of people about to laugh at that, but. Okay, the last one here. What, 6-5, what do we do?
Double hit.
Yeah, well, this is the topic on the double tiger, so yeah, the double hit. Now, this one, this is mostly because, there's not a whole lot else you can do. The alternatives aren't very good, and you're kind of desperate here. So, you can't move this one 6, you can only move it 5. If you move it 5, you give your opponent a direct 6 to hit you with. Not a good idea. You can't move this one at all, so he's stuck. You've got 6 checkers on your 6 point. We know that stacks aren't so great. Well, you can use a 5. It does, it hits there. You've got 13 checkers in the zone. Okay, that says, that's good sign to attack. So here, this is more, you don't have much else to do by process of elimination.
12 in the zone, no?
I'm sorry?
12 in the zone.
12, I'm sorry, yes, 12 in the zone. Yeah, 12 in the zone. So by process of elimination, hey, okay, there's the double tiger. And it's kind of a desperation move, because you don't have much else, but it does give you a 50-50 chance here. And if your opponent rolls a 6-3 or double threes or something like that, you'll be very happy, and he will not. Okay, so that's it. We're now way past our half an hour.
Gary, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Bill Roberti has just come out with a book on opening moves. Have you do you know anything about, are you aware of it?
No, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. He calls it a new way of thinking. I don't know anything about it other than it's by Bill Roberti.
Yeah.
And so I would be curious to see anybody who has both to compare them in any way whatsoever. Because I could probably afford one, but not two.
Well, I didn't realize that he came up. I'll take a look at it, because Bill Roberti is a very fine writer. The only criticism I have of Bill is he uses some of his most elegant prose to argue for moves that are will give you an advantage like 0.01, 0.02. And so I'm often very impressed with the way he described it. And then you go and look at the difference between his move and the one that he's arguing against, and it just doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter very much. Again, if your worst errors are 0.010, 0.02, I guess if you're looking to lower your PR from 3 to 2.9, that you would worry about that. Most of us are trying to get down, from 15 to 12 or something like that, or 7 to 6 or whatever, and that's not going to do it. But I would never say don't read a Bill Roberti book. He's a very fine writer and a very fine backgammon player. So, I would say I haven't read that yet, so I can't compare it. But I think Michy's book, Opening Concepts, is one of the best books.
I have his Endgame book, so I'm familiar with his style of writing.
Yeah, I think the Opening Concept I find it much better than the Endgame. If for no other reason, then you always have an opening. Every game starts with the opening.
Yes,
so,
it's true.
you can avoid errors there. You're in far better shape. The end game is vitally important once you get down to it. But if you doubled out before, or sometimes the end game doesn't matter. Someone's getting off the gammon or something. Like that.
An opening, yes. Well, that gives me motivation to get it.
Yeah. So I highly
you.
recommend Opening Concepts, and I'm not going to tell you not to read any backgammon books. They can all be helpful. Okay, so that's the lesson, or the lesson for today.
Thank you, Gary. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Next time we'll be looking at splitting. So
Richard,
Yes,
Richard,
Karen?
Mary Hickey did a review of the Roberti book in the summer issue of Prime Time, so I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
You know, I've read it and just love it. So,
You recommend the Roberti book too, Karen?
so that, you know, Roberti's book and Michy's 2 books on opening concepts and in-game technique, and Mark Olson's Cube Like a Boss are 4 relatively new books, all of which I felt like I got a lot out of them. But anyway, I'll send you Mary's review of the Roberti book.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Just as a point of interest, back in the 90s, I bought McGrill's Backgammon book. I never really studied it, but I recently refound it. And my plan is he has 4 example games of the 4 types of games: blitzing, priming, running, whatever they are, holding. And I'm going to put those into XG and save them as games for anybody to take a look at them. I don't know where I would distribute them, but I'm going to do it just for my own edification anyway.
Okay. All right, so normally we would do the Showette. Is everyone still here?
I am not going to be able to stick around,
Yeah.
but thank you very much.
Okay,
No, thank you.
I'm going to
Good night.
watch.
okay.
Oh, I might watch.
Karen, could you
What
tell
do
me
you
who, Karen, this is Lisa. You said someone wrote a book called Cube Like a Boss. Who was that?
Right. It's a book by Mark Olson, who
Mark
developed this
Okay.
Backgammon Galaxy. So you're interested in there is also a review of the Mark Olson book, and there was a John O'Hagan did a review of Michy's, I think 2 books.
Well, I think I told you that I got Michy's books and I love them. They're both terrific, both the opening concepts and the end game. They're terrific. Love them. And Gary, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Good. So Mark Olson's is called Cube Like a Boss. I think it's available on Amazon.
Great, thank you.
Okay, well, we're down to 4 people and 2 people who indicated they didn't want to play in the Showette, so we can't really do a Showette with 2 people.
There may not be one.
Yeah,
Listen, Gary, thank you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you in person one of these days.
yeah. Well, that's around the corner, I'm sure.
Good to see you here, Richard. Hello.
Lisa, my dear, I saw that you played in Karen's event on Saturday. I was not able to.
Oh,
when
well,
I saw that you-
it was very short-lived. I didn't play well.
Well, you know, just as a point of reference, we all know that I'm not that strong a player. I'm okay sometimes, but on Monday, was it Sunday, I beat Ben Friesen.
Woohoo!
So, yeah, go figure. Go figure. On any Sunday, as they say, anybody can beat anybody. So you know, I'm very pleased every time I win, and only slightly discouraged when I lose.
Well, I would differ with you that you're not a great player. You're a terrific player, and I enjoy
Well,
playing.
I've learned a lot tonight. I learned a lot tonight. I'm going to have to put it into practice.
Okay, so Phil just showed up. Phil, you want to play? You here for the Showette?
Yes,
Hi,
I'd love
Phil.
to.
How are you?
Hi, Karen. I'm good. Thanks for letting me join late.
So Gary, Phil was interested in the Showette.
Yeah,
James
so-
Ross said he might be by, but later for the Showette. So
Well, we have 3 people for the Showette now, assuming you want to play, Karen, so we can do that. Lisa wanted to watch, and Richard's got to leave her, I guess.
Well, what are the stakes?
What, I missed someone.
What are the stakes for the
Oh.
Chouette?
I think we're doing $5 a point.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's do, where's my thing? Team Roberts.
So Richard, every day I say I'm gonna get an email off to Jason, but I'm eager to start playing again, so.
Oh, I'm gonna see him tomorrow. Is there anything you'd like me to say?
Well, I
tell him?
finally got my second vaccine shot done
Well, good for
a
you.
week ago, so I'm ready to
I get mine
make
tomorrow
my
night.
way to Palm Beach if he's got anything going.
I'll mention it to him. I'll mention it to him. I'm not sure I'm not sure what he's doing other than online and some local stuff, but I will let him know
Thanks.
because I'm supposed to see him tomorrow for lunch.
Okay, so we've got Karen, me, and Phil in with the Chouette. Let's start with the dice. So this will be Karen's roll. Oops, Karen gets a 5. Let me, plus 5. This will be who's second, me?
Yeah.
I'm second. This will be my roll. I get a 6. And this will be Phil's roll. Phil gets a 7. Okay, so Phil will be the box. Get down here. And I will be the captain, and Karen will watch first. Okay, so let's start with the new game. Oh, I need to lose. Oh, we can stop the recording.